Listen, it is 5 o'clock on a Wednesday. So I know no one really wants to hear what I'm going to say, and I don't profess to be some sort of know-it-all, but I did want to share something really interesting. I just got done reading a book called The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, a book that I think all kids and new parents under 30, well, really for everyone, but specifically under 30 and over 18 need to read. Kind of the kids who are going to have children in the next 10 years. And that book caused me to write an essay. The book structure is what is going on with our youth, and that's what I talk about in my essay as well. What is happening with these kids that are being born today, right? We've seen all-time high records of depression, anxiety, obesity. All these things are happening. Suicides are at an all-time high. Like, it's serious stuff, and it just can't be out of the blue, right? That's what I'm like, it just can't just be evolutionary. Like, we're not evolving to get worse. That's completely contrary to Darwinism. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I wanted to do my own research and write this essay and figure out what's happening to these kids. And one thing I noticed unequivocally is the research says the same thing. Kids are losing the ability to play, imagine, and socialize with their counterparts. And it all stems back to what I believe to be the introduction to technology, introduction of technology into a child's life. Even when I was growing up, I'm 21. When I was growing up, we didn't have iPads and YouTube. Like, we had it, but we didn't use it. It was all super new. So I grew up the more part of my childhood not hopping on iPads. We had Disney Channel, and we still had technology, but it wasn't to the extent we had today. My mom wasn't handing me an iPad when I was crying. And that's what's going on, right? And so we're seeing that all these kids are in these susceptible positions because they're being introduced to technology earlier. And what do I mean by that? I mean introduction to technology for youth, or the new generation, is introducing one. They're less resilient, right? So when babies cry or have hard times, we are giving them iPads, which is stopping them from developing neuroplasticity or resilience to those certain situations. So they're overprotected. We're not monitoring what our kids are watching. Kids are getting exposed to murder and pornography and all these harmful things, not even meant for kids 18 and younger at young ages. They're losing the ability to socialize, right? We all know those kids, and I'm making a broad generalization, but we all know those kids. When we interact with them, they can't talk to you, and they're like 7. Obviously, their level of conversation, if they're 7 or 8, is different, but they're 7 or 8, they can't make eye contact with you. They can't hold a conversation. They can't even tell you what they did in their day. So there's so many things that we're seeing as a society trend in the wrong direction. And I want to know why. And I believe, and my essay talks about, that it is stemming from technology and the introduction of technology into a child's life before the age of 12. And after reading Haidt's book and these articles, I think there's some really easy things that we can do. First off, okay, I don't know how easy this is, but it's got to happen. There has to be a strict age limit held to social media. Social medias are the largest proprietors of these feelings that kids are developing, right? Causing a lack of self-confidence, depression, anxiety, suicide. This is all driven by a social media-based world. Comparison, all these things like doom scrolling, it all stems from social media. So 16 or younger should not be able to access social media at all. And that's a recommendation from Haidt's book. And I'm actually going to steal his recommendations because he was on the Huberman podcast as well, Jonathan Haidt. And he had some really interesting recommendations. I'm going to look them up right now. Okay, so he says no smartphones before high school. I love that. And no social media before 16 or ideally 18, right? Seeing how much harm it causes the same amount of harm or more harm than a lot of things that are prohibited. And he talks a little bit about that. Phone-free schools, and this is more general, especially for younger kids. I talk about this in my essay. Intentional time for kids to develop and let the creative side of their brain work. That is, go have them play with a friend, go take them, go on a hike, let them just play with Legos. These little things continue to build and build and build this neuroplasticity that we're seeing more and more and more kids not have these days. So intentional screenless time. And this is my favorite one of all. This is what inspired me, this recommendation right here. More childhood independence and free play. No more, let your kid run around the neighborhood. Let him or her ride her bike. You know, the fear of them getting kidnapped is irrational in so many places that stem from the 1990s and the milk carton kids and all this stuff. That's proven to be irrational. They're more likely to get struck by lightning on a bike than kidnapped. Okay, so let them free play. Don't be involved. Let them develop these social skills with their friends at a young age. Have them go knock doors and ask if Wesley or Brian or Claire or Kate can go play. That doesn't happen. Let them run around in groups on their bikes doing stuff. Parents are too overprotective of their kids' play. Always teach them the right principles. Teach them, say, hey, look both ways before you cross the street, all this stuff. But don't just hand them an iPad instead of having them go find a friend because it's less stressful for you. That's what's happening. Parents will be like, no, I don't want you to walk over to Gary's house and see what he's doing. Just watch TV. That way I can get my stuff done and I know where you are. That is terrible. And I don't even have to explain that. In essence, that's restricting your kid's growth just for your comfort. Don't let the comfort of technology be the governor of your parenting style. So I'm just going to reach that. I love these 4 ideas, and I think they're really going to help us. No smartphones before high school. I think that's great. And obviously this takes a group effort, right? We've got to get a group in this. If it's just one kid, that's really hard for them to do that. And honestly, it's super hard socially on them, but this needs to become a group thing. So no smartphones for it to be successful. No smartphones before high school. No social media before 16. Ideally 18, but going through the legislative process and in the lobbying that goes on for these social media companies is insane. So it's going to be a fight. 3, phone-free schools. I think that's super realistic. We're seeing that in the state of Utah right now. It's happening around the country as well. And more childhood independence and free play. Unstructured play. Let them engage in activities that promote creativity and problem solving. And let them use their mind, let them use their mind and figure out how to solve certain situations. Don't just go help them the first time they're in trouble. Sorry I'm on my soapbox right now, but I just thought you guys should know that. That's why I'm throwing this little video up. I didn't know how else to do it, but I appreciate you guys for listening.